Good evening to you and welcome. This is the news at 7. I am Oyewumi Ayinigbara. Ondo State government says it is committed to people-friendly projects that will improve the economic prospect and open up the rural areas for development. Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, who made the remark at the 5-day deep dive workshop organized by the Performance and Project Monitoring Implementation Unit (PPIMU) held in Akure, said government will translate the values from the workshop into governance. Government House correspondent Timile Falade now reports.
The 5-day deep dive workshop was organized specifically to facilitate project monitoring, evaluation, and implementation to complement the 8-point agenda of Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu's administration. Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, in his address, said the workshop has provided a platform to focus on geographic and rural access and agricultural marketing project (RAMP) for the transformation of Ondo State.
From what we know so far, the Geographical Information System (GIS), when it takes off fully, is expected to impact economic development, even disaster management, issues of coastal areas, security architecture, and creation of jobs opportunity in the state. As we look forward to impressive results on the Geographic Information System, after now, we must also not lose sight of the tremendous deliverables from RAP, which will complement the effort of the state government at opening up the rural communities, promotion of agricultural practices, and enhancement of their well-being in all ramifications. We therefore encourage the stakeholders in both projects to keep the flag flying.
Aiyedatiwa said the state government will continue to give necessary support and tap from the value addition of the workshop after it is ratified and approved by the State Executive Council.
We must have come face to face with both our strengths and weaknesses. This is where we used to be and where we are now. Bottlenecks and offering solutions. All put together inspire our inspirations to work harder and explore all the rooms for improvement in the months ahead. Let me assure you that the state government will continue to give you all the necessary support, just as we are giving you for this particular workshop.
The Director General, Performance and Project Monitoring Implementation Unit, PIMO, Mr. Babajide Akeredolu, said the workshop aims to define a clear roadmap for project management based on consensus with key stakeholders for implementation.
From the very first day, this deep dive workshop has been an immersive and continuous learning experience for both participants and facilitators alike. It has served as a platform to highlight the potential of our state and the transformative impact that well-planned projects can have on the public. It has been an exposition of the possibilities of a state like ours and the impact that well-thought-out projects can have on the public.
The event featured presentations and projects which could change development narratives of the state.
And the aim for this project was to create a ready-to-use monitoring and problem-solving tools and processes to empower PIMO and the rest of the stakeholders for the monitoring of this project.
The technical committee will be more hands-on and will comprise a larger number of stakeholders to key into the aspects and activities within the project.
Participants said the workshop will go a long way to create monitoring tools to achieve the set goals in the interests of the people and state. Timile Falade, Osrc News.
Residents of Akure, the Ondo State capital, have pleaded for the quick completion of Odaro projects to ease transportation in the axis. The road project, which commenced at Akure Mall Junction, is expected to terminate at Oda Town before the expiration of this present administration. Omoriola Hongwiji visited the area to ascertain the level of work done so far.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Another road dualization project was approved by the administration of Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu during his first tenure, with a promise to ease the transportation problem of the people of the area.
Is it not last year? No dust tower, big on the body wagon, she la pon, la ma pon la to di dele wa mo dupe gan gidi nu mi gan dun. Bo se wa ri, a de dupe lowo governor Rotimi Akeredolu.
The 4-kilometer dualization road project, which terminates at Weli axis, is currently on the verge of completion. Although the contractor handling the project was not on site as at press time, the signs of recent work at the site was confirmed. Residents commended the work done so far, noting that it has reduced the hardship being faced in past years, but pleaded for the extension of the project to other agrarian community.
The road is good. The way they are doing it now, I think the contractor, they are doing their best. But we expect the government to instruct the contractor to extend the road to other or board. But with what we are saying now, it's like the road with the thing we terminate at here.
As from ShopRite to this place now, it's very good. So everybody is happy. But from here to other town, so it's not being proper. So we also plead to the contractor so that they should put more efforts so that the work will be finished on time.
May help us to finish this road. I beg, may help us to finish this road.
Speaking on the road construction, Acting Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works, Idowu Allen, said all ongoing road projects in Ondo State are being monitored for proper execution. According to him, the road project will be extended to other community.
The contract is actually the dualization of 4 kilometers length of road from ShopRite roundabout. That's the starting point of that project. So if you take 4 kilometers from that place, you will be around Weli junction here. And that's the terminal point of the dualized road. But government is not stopping there. We are extending the road from that Weli to Oda. So, but it's going to be a single carriageway. I was there 2 days ago at ShopRite roundabout. We are trying to reconstruct the roundabout in such a way that it will permit the smooth flow of traffic.
Mr. Allen also confirmed that all the road projects going on across the 3 senatorial districts of Ondo State would be completed as and when due, as the contractors handling them are taking advantage of the current climate weather. Omoriola Hungbiji, Osrc News.
The Ohanese social cultural organization has said Igbos have moved on with the president-elect Bola Tinubu. This was as Ohanese urged the Labour Party LP presidential candidate Peter Obi to accept the outcome of the presidential election in good faith. Ohanese Secretary General Okechukwu Iziguzoro was reacting to a call against Tinubu by a group known as Igbo Patriotic Forum and Others Forum. The group had said Tinubu should not be inaugurated as president until the tribunal decides the winner of the 2023 presidential election. Condemning the call, Siguzoro said the Ime Obi has decided that Igbos should support Tinubu's presidency until the court of competent jurisdiction says otherwise, adding that the LP presidential candidate Obi is a candidate for the future. Meanwhile, a cross-section of northern leaders are demanding that the region must produce the leadership of the 10th National Assembly, given that the President-elect Bola Tinubu and the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, are both from the southern part of the country. The leaders representing the 19 northern states argued that their demand for the North to head the legislative arm of the federal government was in line with Section 14, Subsection 1, Subsection 2, and Subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution. The northern leaders made a demand at the one-day roundtable discussion in Kaduna State to review the region's socio-economic challenges and its contributions to Tinubu's victory in the 2023 general elections. The secretary to the Northern Leaders Roundtable, Dr. Benjamin Dickey, said based on the contribution of the North to Tinubu's electoral success, the South as a whole should not expect to lead the National Assembly since both the president-elect and judicial head are Southerners. In the meantime, Benue State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has inaugurated a committee to investigate the alleged anti-party activities of former Minister of Works, Barnabas Genmade, one-time House of Representatives member, Professor Tehimeba Shija, and 3 others. The inauguration of the fact-finding committee is coming few days after the party in the state suspended the 2 former governorship aspirants and 3 others for anti-party activities. The National Working Committee of the party, adding a statement, said Gimade, Shija, and 3 others that were affected by the suspension earlier remain bona fide members of the Benue State chapter of the party. But the state chairman of the party, Austin Agada, insisted that the suspension slammed on the party's members' stand. Agada denied receipt of any communication from the National Secretariat lifting the suspension of the 2 former governorship aspirants, adding that the decision to suspend them was taken by the Congress of the party. You're still watching Osrc News at 7. After the break, medical unions issue 15-day ultimatum over alleged federal government inconsistencies on health workers' salary structure. Please do join us then.
A peak protein breakfast gets me to a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes to his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. Because all day and every day, the peak goes on.
Start your day with a peak protein breakfast. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Thank you very much for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. Preparing for the switch of technological change or adjusting to new innovations are critical to survival in business. A case in hand is the increasing buying of airtime online platforms and bank apps as against the traditional purchase of recharge cards from roadside vendors. Osrc's Saeed Arabisala in this report takes a look at online purchase of airtime and data and its attendant implication for vendors and medium-scale entrepreneurs.
In Nigeria, the National Bureau of Statistics revealed that Nigeria's internet users grew to 154.8 million in the 4th quarter of year 2022, with the number of active voice subscribers in 4th quarter of 2022 rising to 222,571,568 from the 195,463,898 report 4th quarter of 2021. These figures are clearly indicative of the important role mobile phones have continued to play in human existence, particularly among Nigerians. But for these mobile devices to work efficiently to achieve ease in communication, airtime and data are quite as important. According to the Nigerian Communications Commission, Nigerians and other nationals within the country spent 3.25 trillion naira on airtime, data and other telecommunication services in 2021. How are these airtime and data purchased?
Through vendor and through my phone. Buy card to the tune of 30,000 in a month. That's on the average.
Before the rise in online banking, approaching roadside vendors or stores are perhaps the surest way to get airtime and data. But recent development in technology now allows everyone to have the capacity to purchase credit or data online.
Now, it saves time, is convenient compared to just moving around seeking where you can get a recharge card from then. But now you can just, while using your own phone, you get whatever you want. During the period of printing card and using scratch card, wherever you get to, if you want to buy 100 naira worth of recharge card, they will collect 110 naira from you. So it's still the same thing.
Among some Nigerians, however, is the concern that banks through these online outlets are fast becoming a supermarket of some sort, where several things can be purchased with its attendant pressure, having implication on jobs.
Within a period of time, we will do many things that we are doing with your hand. So we have advanced effects. So the technologies of Nigeria and world at large. Anything we are doing online, we are very certain to help you. So that's what happened. So that's what we can do. Does not have adverse effects on certain things. That's what we are sending newspaper before. We are sending through the hand now, but we are sending through the online now. You will read everything, almost everything now.
For some confronted with this seeming challenge, acquiring additional business knowledge is key to staying relevant.
There's no much gain on it, but people are patronizing it. People prefer the paper one more than the transfer one, that is the online one. But most of the time, the online one you gain much. Like the online one now, if you are in some platform, if I recharge people 100 naira, I can gain like 3 naira, and in some I have 2 naira gain.
It's not be easy because like now I've been in this place now for a while. You know, no job, but as a man, you don't have to sit at home.
For an accounting expert, Akintude Omomufe, the advice to business owners is to continually explore opportunities attached to advancement in technology.
Business people should be opportunistic. So you opportunistic in nature. If one side is working today, you are in. If it's not working tomorrow, you are out and move to where it is working. Because somehow what happens is that every policy or technology improvement, you know, like I said, shuts certain doors, then it creates new openings. So you look at it and you move.
To excel in business and stand the test of time, adaptability to prevailing circumstances, business analysts say, is important. Sahir Aribisala, Osrc News.
Meanwhile, telecoms operators in Nigeria said that they have secured the necessary regulatory approval to disconnect deposit money banks DMBs over 120 billion naira USSD debts. Acting under the aegis of Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria, ALTON, they said the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has granted an approval for mobile network operators (MNOs) to disconnect DMBs if they fail to pay the debt owed to operators for unstructured supplementary service data USSD services. ALTON Chairman Benga Adebayo said the approval was granted because despite multi-party stakeholder efforts to resolve the situation and prevent any impact on services led by Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, and including the NCC, the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN, along with MNOs and DMBs. The DMBs have continued to incur greater and greater debt without making the commensurate payments. The Joint Health Sector Unions and Assembly of Healthcare Professional Associations have issued a 15-day strike ultimatum over alleged inconsistencies by the federal government in the ongoing negotiations to adjust the consolidated health salary structure for health workers on their platforms. The The unions noted that the ministry had shown tendencies to shift from their agreed terms and rules of engagement relating to non-discrimination in the determination of the wages and benefit packages of health workers in Nigeria. The unions called on the federal government to consolidate on health salary structure as agreed in terms of settlement of September 2017, which had lingered since 2014. They also urged the federal government to pay peculiar allowance to health workers under the urges of JUESU AHP, as well as an immediate and conditional implementation of the constant cadre circular of pharmacists in all federal health institutions. Other demands include payment of all withheld salaries of members in Federal Medical Center in Owerri, Jos University Teaching Hospital, Lagos University Teaching Hospital, and their withheld April and May 2018 salaries, speedy adjustment of retirement age from 60 to 65 years, and exclusion of some health workers in the payment of new hazard allowance, as well as payment of COVID-19 allowance balance, among other demands. And former Nigerian head of state, retired General Yakubu Gowon, says regular investment in the health sector will go a long way in addressing the medical needs of Nigerians. The former head of state made the assertion at the 50th anniversary celebration of the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, Benin City, Edo State, whose commissioning he had attended as head of state on May 12, 1973. Gowon urged everyone in the health ecosystem to always be prepared to adapt to modern-day medical practices. He tasked the government to renew its commitment to providing quality health care to all Nigerians. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, has insisted that human rights violations allegations leveled against the Nigerian military by Reuters were not only shocking but also spurious. Irabo said this when he appeared before the National Human Rights Commission investigative panel on rights violations in counter-insurgency operations by the military in the Northeast. According to Irabo, the army is not responsible for the stigmatization of the women who bore children by Boko Haram insurgents, adding that the officers who gave Reuters such information about abortions should be brought to the panel. The National Human Rights Commission inaugurated the panel following the allegations of gross human rights violations contained in the three-part report published in December 2022 on military operations in the Northeast by media group Reuters. 125 more Nigerians fleeing the war in Sudan have arrived in the country. The evacuees who arrived today from Port Sudan brings the total number of evacuated Nigerians from Sudan to 2,371. Upon arrival, the returnees were processed by immigration officials alongside their colleagues from the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and the National Commission for Refugee, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. In Turkey, support for President Erdogan was affected by the soaring cost of living before the February earthquake brought on another challenge. The opposition is trying to ride on a wave of public anger over the ruling party's handling of the disaster. Of the 10 provinces hit by the earthquake, 6 are traditionally AKP strongholds. Oduayo Soya now reports.
Amid the rubble from February's devastating earthquakes, Mehmet and Nadim trying to make a living, Turkey's economy has faltered in recent years, but despite the hardships, many people's loyalties have not shaken. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's AKP party appears to have maintained its popularity in traditional strongholds in southern provinces.
I won't vote for anyone apart from the AK party. My grandfather and father were members of the party.
On Sunday, the party that has governed for 2 decades faces its toughest election challenge. Yet, there are 9 million voters in the earthquake-affected areas. In the aftermath of one of the worst disasters in modern Turkish history, many blamed the government for its initial slow response and accused it of ignoring building safety standards, but in Erdogan's electoral base.
I will sacrifice myself for him. This natural disaster was a test from God. Erdogan did what he could, and people should be thankful. I am, even though I'm living in a tent.
Millions of people lost their homes. Erdogan has focused much of his campaign on promises to rebuild within a year. But here in Hatay, one of the worst hit provinces, many say they were and continue to be ignored.
When there were floods in Urfa after the quakes, everyone there was compensated. But since the quakes, nothing was given to Hatay. They only focus on those who vote for them.
This is an opposition stronghold. In Turkey, a voting behavior has a lot to do with ideology, political affiliation, and loyalties. The state of the economy and the handling of such a disaster will have little impact on a decades-old fault line. In simple terms, there are secularists and those who welcome a greater role for Islam in public life, and Turks, not just in this quake devastated areas, tend to vote along party lines. Oduayo Soya, Osrc News.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Rome, where he has met political leaders ahead and had an audience with Pope Francis. He met Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and President Sergio Mattarella. At the Vatican, the Ukraine President Zelensky told Pope Francis that it was a great honor to meet him. A huge security operations was launched with more than 1,000 police deployed and a no-fly zone over Rome. And in sport, Carlos Alcaraz granted a return to the world #1 sport when he took to court to play fellow Spaniard Albert Ramos Venonas in the second round of the Italian Open. The 20-year-old will overtake Novak Djokovic in the ATP rankings and is now assured of the top speeding at the French Open later this month. Djokovic arrived in Rome with a 5-point lead over Alcaraz, but as the defending champions, the Serb would drop points during the tournament. Alcaraz is not defending any point and ends 10 by beginning his opening match in the Italian capital, enough to put him on top of the rankings. The Spaniard became the youngest ever world #1 thanks to his US Open triumph last September, but Djokovic denied entry to the United States because of his COVID vaccination status. Alcaraz will begin his 23rd week at world #1 on May 22 and has a chance to leave Rome with sizable lead. And with that sports story, we conclude the news tonight. But before we go, a quick look at the top stories. We told you that the Ondo State government has reiterated commitment to people-friendly projects for accelerated growth. And residents also urge Ondo State government on speedy completion of Oda Road projects. Medical unions has issued a 15-day ultimatum over alleged federal government's inconsistencies on health workers' salary structure. And from the foreign scene, we told you that earthquake victims in Turkey are now divided ahead polls tomorrow. And that's the news tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.